exercise 225 from the textbook Pine, Hendrickson, Cram and Hammond. It's practice in naming carboxylic acid derivatives. In the first exercise we have an acyl chloride. They have an oil ending where you name, and then you name the halide and ide ending. This is a tert-butyl group, but we named it systematically by saying, looking for the longest chain, which is 3 long. So we say 2,2-dimethyl propan oil chloride. Propan because it's 3 carbons for the longest chain. The second one is an ester. Esters are named in the same way that they're made. They're made from an alcohol and an acid that are joined at the oxygen. So we start by naming the side that's joined to the oxygen. So we say methyl, 3-chloro. This is for the chain. Notice how the chain is 1, 2, 3, 4 long. So it's a butan, and then O8 is the ending for an ester. So we say methyl, 3-chloro, methyl, 3-chloro, 3-methyl, butan-O8. C is a nitrile. Substituted, it's got 1, 2, 3 for the longest chain. There's a cyclohexyl on the 3rd carbon and a methyl on the 2nd one, so we call it 3-cyclohexyl, 2-methyl, propane nitrile. D is an amide, but with only 1 carbon. You might be tempted to call it an aldehyde, but we see that a carbonyl with an amine group next to it is called an amide. So it's an amide with 1 carbon in it, so we call it methanamide. And it's substituted with a phenyl group at the nitrogen, so we call it N-phenyl methanamide. This is an anhydride combined by making 2 carboxylic acids and dehydrating them. If you add 2 carboxylic acid groups together with the subtraction of water, we get an anhydride. So this is propanoic anhydride. You name anhydrides by the same way you would name an acid of the same chain length, 1, 2, 3. So it's propanoic acid. You drop the acid, you leave the oic part, and you simply replace it with anhydride. This is an ester, but it's an ester that's been put onto a ring. So whenever you put an ester on a ring, you call it carboxylic. So we say ethyl cyclobutane carboxylate. Let's take it up to here. Stop. Did you stop? Okay. The next one is an amide, substituted with a methyl group on the nitrogen, so N-methylbenzamide. H is a nitrile with a phenyl ring substituent, so 3-phenyl pentane nitrile, longest chain is 5. Parachlorobenzoic acid is substituted on opposite side. Benzoic acid is a carboxylic acid on a benzene, chlorine on the other side. You could also call it 1,4. You would call it 4-chlorobenzoic acid. Finally, we have, penultimately, we have a tert-butyl and a cyclohexyl on a ketone, so we can call it we didn't write down what we call it, but it's on 226. It's tert-butyl cyclohexyl ketone. Here we have the name and we have to draw the shape. So this is tert-butyl cyclohexyl ketone. And the last one is this molecule. We would call that 2-butyl 4-methyl pentanoate. It's an ester, so we call it 2-butyl because the butyl group is attached at the 2nd position, and the pentanoate is the longest carbon chain there is in the molecule, but there's a methyl group at the 4th position. If you number it, you can see it more easily. So pentanoate for that. The O8 ending is for esters. So 2-butyl 4-methyl pentanoate.